All right, let's go ahead and move on. The next game on our docket is the Dolphins Falcons game. The Falcons are actually favored by 2.5. The over under is 47.5. And as far as this game is concerned, I wanted to point out that the Dolphins are the only team in the NFL ranked in the bottom 5 in scoring offense with 16.5 points per game and in scoring defense at 29.5 points per game allowed this season. And they elected not to take their bye right after the London game because during the NFL schedule creation, teams are actually able to make that decision. And the Dolphins were the only one who opted out of taking a bye after the London game. Instead, they get to face a team coming off their bye in the Atlanta Falcons. So, Matt, what do you think is going to happen there?
I like the Falcon. I like the over in this game. And I like the Falcons to cover that 2.5 real easy. And the Dolphins, hey, congrats to the Dolphins. You just allowed the Jags to get their first win out of the last 20 games. Kudos to you for doing something wrong or worse than the Jags. So at this point, the Dolphins are banged up too. Their defense has been all banged up. I believe last game it was Byron Jones and Xavier Howard were both out. Mike, do you have an update on what at least the Wednesday practice report for them at the moment?
Sorry, for who?
Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, the corners.
Sorry, I wasn't on that. Keep going and I'll get back to you in just a second.
Yeah, sounds good. So for this game, I like Calvin Ridley. We still don't have the details on his side of what the personal issue per se was for him, but I know he's going to be back at this point. He's already reporting. He's been at practice. So I expect a very good game from Calvin Ridley. The corners are banged up on the opposite side there. He's coming off 2 extra weeks of rest, which, can't hurt. And on top of that, surprisingly, Matt Ryan, according to Pro Football Focus, take it for what that is, but he's had a 90+ rating in his last 2 games. We know that he typically starts slow in a new system. So but considering just how bad the Dolphins are at stopping the run as well, I'm expecting a good game from Mike Davis as well as Cordero Patterson, keeping him in the flames, getting just enough work done. So between those 2 weapons and Calvin Ridley, I think the Falcons are going to be able to pretty handily cover this spread. Last week, we saw it was the first game that Tua was back. Looks like he was clearly funneling targets to Mike Gesicki and Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle is going to be someone to watch this week. He got the targets. He got 2 touchdowns last week. And someone to keep an eye on too would be Devontae Parker. Let's see if he actually comes back this week and he's back in the fold. That should help open some things up. So I do think the reason I like the over is because I do believe some of the Dolphins' offensive numbers are skewed by the Jacoby Brissett experiment that happened to go on for a few weeks. Not saying I believe a lot in Tua, but if you're going to give me 2.5, I just think the Falcons are going to be able to cover that by at least a field goal.
And to answer your question on those corners, both are just listed as questionable, no extra details.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. Take the over, take the Falcons. Tyler, what you think on this game?
Matt, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm willing to sound crazy, but I think the Jaguars are figuring it out. I really do. I think we go back to that Bengals game, and I think that they started to figure it out. They had a tough game against Tennessee, and then last week they came in against the Dolphins, and I actually thought that Tua looked good. I don't think that losing to the Jags right now is as bad as it might feel. So I look at this Dolphins team, and I think that Tua actually was able to do things that Jacoby Brissett couldn't do for this offense. Like you said, all of a sudden, a couple players that were completely irrelevant for fantasy over that course of, 3 games, all of a sudden are back in the flames. You can play Gesicki, you can play Waddle. This offense can move the ball a little bit. Obviously, I think us cautioning last week against kind of trying to ride that hot game with Myles Gaskin paid off really well. He didn't do too much. It doesn't seem like they want to run the ball. To me, what this really feels like is it feels like they want Tua to go out there and either A, prove them wrong and prove to them that he can be their franchise quarterback, or B, play really well and become a nice trade chip for them to go get Deshaun Watson. So for me, I'm going to take I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover this 2.5. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm also going to take the under. I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be one of those 21-20 games. I don't feel great about it. I wouldn't sit here and water bet it, but to me, I don't know. I look at the Falcons. I look at the Falcons organization right now, and between the stuff going on with Calvin Ridley sitting out the last 2 games and everything going on there, I think we're looking at 2 franchises that are just kind of in a really weird place. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover 2.5, and I'm going to take the under 47.5.
So I'm agree with you on 2 things, Tyler. I'm agree with you on you sound crazy. Yeah, Jaguars are not that good. Dolphins are that bad. Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to agree with you on the under. I like the under in this one. I just don't think the Dolphins are that good. I don't think they're going to be able to score that much, even though Falcons defense hasn't been looking great. I just don't think the Dolphins are that good. The only player that I trust on this team as far as fantasy standards go is going to be Jalen Waddle. Gaskin, you never know what you're going to get out of him. It's almost like he's a box of chocolates. You just don't know. He's either going to have a touchdown and be good for you, which he's only had 2 this whole season and they came in 1 game, or he's going to be terrible. So Jalen Waddle is the only player that I like on the Dolphins team. I'm definitely going to take the Falcons to cover this one. It looks like they're starting to kind of figure it out here. I'm not going to say that they've really totally figured it out, but it looks like they're playing better. Matt Ryan's kind of getting more comfortable in this system. It always takes him a while for him to kind of pick up a new system. So I like Calvin Ridley in this game. I like Mike Davis, Cordell Patterson. I like him a lot as well too. I think those are safe picks. Kyle Pitts going to be a safe play this week too. Not many, and for the Falcons, not many troubles coming from the defensive end for Miami. So I like a bunch of them on that end. I'm going to take Falcons to cover, and I'm going to take the under in this one.
And I'm on those exact same picks there. But Tyler, I don't disagree with the fact that I don't think that Tua played that poorly in that last game. And I do have the Jags ranked above some other teams in the AFC, but they still kind of are that bad. But I do have the Dolphins actually ranked below them, kind of for what I was mentioning before. Plus, again, if you're saying that the Dolphins side of the ball, Tua not playing that poorly, that means the rest of the team did. So that's why
I think it's less about the rest of the team playing poorly as I don't know. When I watch that team, they just feel like a completely different offense with Tua under center. With Tua under center,
then
I'm not going to water it. Why am I going to water a Dolphins game?
because you're selling it.
Because they swim in the water.
Listen. All I'm saying is I look at this Falcons roster. I look at this Falcons team. 3 weeks ago, the Falcons beat the Giants by 3. Then they lost to Washington, who just got absolutely embarrassed last week by 4. And then they beat the Jets by a touchdown. The Falcons have not figured it out. I don't know what Falcons team you guys are watching that you think has figured it out, but they just haven't. And I don't think they're going to. And I think that this team misses Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley has not been the guy that we thought he was going to be this year. And I think there's too many notions we had about this Falcons team just being fine that we had before the season that just have not come true. So we'll see.
Sounds like a strong opinion. What if I gave you 4?
We'll see.
What if I gave you 4 for water?
Here's the thing. I don't need water. I could just make you guys feel like complete morons next week, and that's going to feel just as good.
Yeah, I don't believe it because you're not sold on your pick, so you can't make us feel like morons.
Yeah, that's a lot of opinions, not a lot of confidence. So
not at all. So how can you make us feel like morons if you're not confident at all?
All right. Well,
It's
at
just,
least, I guess at least we can add to our tally again. Stay
Yeah.
ahead. Oh well.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the
Just
next
keep
game
swimming.
here.
Just keep swimming.
Thank you for listening to this little highlight of the 2 Minute Drill podcast. If you want to follow along to other games, here's a playlist for you. If you want to listen to the show in its entirety, show links are in the description. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.